Hey, my Taurus babies, what's happening? This is EJ from Taurota Tarot, getting ready to do Taurus and Scorpio. Sitting in a tree, Kissing. I'll go ahead and shuffle these up anyway. So some of you are sitting on the fence with your Scorpio. That much I have seen. And some of you are on the verge of making a decision about your relationship with your Scorpio. And it's quite simple. You're either going to take it to the next level, or one of these little unforeseen events coming up, Mercury retrograde, with an ex is going to take you right out of the game with your Scorpio. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what it's about right now. That's what I hear. That's what I see. Talking about clarity and love. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As far as Scorpio is concerned, some of you been sitting on the fence for a minute. You've been very quiet about it. But you've been sitting on the fence for a minute. I'm going to do this the way I've been doing the other monthlies here recently. We're going to do 3, 2 for overall energy and 1 for the challenge. And then we're going to do 2 weeks at a time for the month of October. Yeah, that 3 of Swords. I'll be damned. Upheavals and disappointments. That's the challenge. Just what the hell I'm saying. What the hell? Yeah, you're thinking about your partner, your Scorpio partner right now. What kind of leader they are, that Emperor, and what kind of stability is that relationship going to yield you? And I have a sense that a lot of y'all are not happy with the situation that you see right now. Lover's card on top of the Justice, and the Queen of Pentacles on top of the 8 of Swords. The Emperor pulls the Judgment. Page of Swords pulls the 9 of Cups. There's your Scorpio. King of Cups, more Scorpio. Pulls the Hermit, the back end of it, talking about patience will be rewarded. King of Wands pulls the Knight of Wands, making moves, baby. The Magician pulls the 2 of Swords, and Queen of Pentacles pulls the 2 of Cups. Grab this one from the bottom. Yeah, 7 of Coins on top of that 3 of Swords. So your overall energy. The Lover's card on top of the Justice. Okay, well, obviously, we're talking about Taurus and Scorpio. What did you think? And on the top end of your overall energy, you feel the compassion from your Scorpio partner. You can see if you don't actually feel a sense of balance. And you're aware of this. That's what the Judgment and the Lovers is talking about. But on the back end of it, with the Queen of Coins on top of the 8 of Swords, you're scared. Talk about the fear of moving on, and not real sure that the way is clear for y'all to move ahead. There may be children involved. This front end of her talks about fertility interest. That could be kids. There may be kids involved that might, on either side. Taurus, you may have kids. Scorpio doesn't. You may feel like your Scorpio is being a little trepidatious about getting involved any further because you have children, or vice versa. Taurus, your kids might be grown. You might not have kids, but your Scorpio got them. And you don't know That's our energy all day. The queen of coin. You don't know how all of that's going to fit into your little thing. You just don't know. What's interesting about this is that the back end talks about being barren or not interested. That part. And so some of you may be struggling with that. And again, Taurus, it feels like you're kind of quietly soldiering on. You're looking at everything. And so then that brings us to the challenge up here with the 7 of coins sitting on top of the 3 of swords. Heartbreak, separation, this is your challenge. Anxiety, and every time I see this card, it's the same thing. How that tree is yielding fruit, but this is bare. How the hell you do that? And so some of you may be feeling like all the accoutrements are there, but the inside stuff is not there. The goodies are not there. So the sex might be off the chain, conversation might be to die for, but something missing. Some of you, I saw this when I was shuffling the cards earlier, may be feeling like dealing with your Scorpio, you are somehow settling for second best. And that might be why you're being quiet and thinking about all of whatever and trying to process your emotions and how you really feel. And is this going to be a long-term situation? Can you see this situation going long-term? That part. Which brings us to the first week with the Judgment sitting on top of the Emperor. You may have to take the lead, Taurus, if you want to stay in this situation with your Scorpio. With the Judgment card, you may have to be the one to figure out what the hell was lost, what pieces are missing. Again, talking about that inside shit and empty trees and shit. You may have to be the one to take the lead if you want to stay in this and make the decision, yes, this is what we're doing. Because Scorpio, they're very intuitive. Don't think they ain't picking up on what you're putting down. So you might not be saying anything towards, but Scorpio feels you. They know they may have it misconstrued. They may think you're hiding something. You really aren't. You're trying to puzzle all this shit out in your head. Again, if we're talking about combining or blending families and kids, one of you has them, the other doesn't, or you both do, but yours are grown and gone, and they have little kids, or theirs are grown and gone, and you've got little kids, however that's resonating, trying to reconcile all of that into getting what you want or finding what was lost. That part right there. The back end of this is a desire to live, to thrive, to be happy. So some of you have that desire. You want to be happy with your Scorpio, but there's something there. And that's the Judgment card. That's major energy. So that's a serious decision that has to be made, Taurus, on your part. Coming next to that, the 9 of Cups sitting on top of the Page of Swords. You may be figuring you don't know what to do, but your Scorpio, it's a 9 of Cups here. This is ideal for them. They are head over heels for you, boo. I'm just going to throw that out there. And some of this is new for them. That Page energy. So they may be thinking about this just as hard as you are. But they may be looking at it from a totally different perspective than you. What's it say on the back? Consolidate. And they're trying to figure out how they can consolidate yours, mine, and everybody else's. That's okay that you're not on the same page. That's okay, because the beauty comes when you can get on the same page together knowingly. Hold that thought. At the end of this first week, with the Hermit, that's the back end of the Hermit. It's about having patience. And the King of Cups, this is your Scorpio energy. the visionary, the healer, the Scorpio. You may have to have some patience with your situation. You'll be rewarded, Taurus, if you thinking, you're going to get into this and nothing is just going to be, there's good here. Let me just say that out loud. There's good here. Now, the upheavals and the disappointments are coming. Here's your challenge: to avoid all of that and to figure out why you're feeling, like the outside picture looks pretty, but the inside not so much. And how you can reconcile these two things together if you want to make this go. But your Scorpio, they're not trying to be controlling. They're not trying to. Scorpio has a tendency; they can do that. That's not it. They're on you, but your patience while you wait for things to come together, because that's really what this is about, things coming together. Your patience will be rewarded. It will be. Now, whether or not you're going for that, that's another story. When we get to the second week, with the Knight of Wands sitting on top of the King of Rods or the King of Wands, that's when the upset starts coming. So this night is about making moves. Obviously, the other side is about transformation, which Taurus has been doing for the past year and a half, just unrelenting change. But might be a fire sign coming towards you. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or somebody that's got those qualities or those signs in their natal chart somewhere prominently. This new person, though, they may have their issues. They might be arrogant. They might be bougie, as we say, stuck up, think they know everything, don't know nothing, that kind of thing. But you may be smitten with them, and it may get you to thinking about making moves. The second week puts us into the beginning of Mercury retrograde here in October. So, obviously, you're going to have an onslaught of exes doing the parade thing. And that's right there. That's right there. Next to that, the Magician with the Two of Swords. Now we're talking about compassion. But we're also talking about blockages. With the Magician, you may be feeling blocked with your Scorpio, which in turn has you reaching out and looking for a balance of passion. The fucked up part about this, the back end of this, is about lies and deceit. Now, I don't know who's doing the lying and who's doing the deceiving, but that energy is there. And with someone new, and this is air, so you may also be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Ultimately, you're going to go where there's a balance of passion. Let's put that like that. That's what you're trying to get to, where they're equal parts of passion and responsibility and commitment. I'm just saying, looking at the blockages, whatever they are, it may be just best to sit and wait it out, depending on what you're trying to do. Once again, if you're trying to stay with Scorpio, this is probably going to be a non-issue for you. But if you are in that weighing energy where you're trying to figure out, should I stay with my Scorpio? Should I leave? It's the balance and the blockages that come before you get to any kind of, what do I want to say, enlightenment about your situation. There'll be blockages, and the blockages will be there so you can evaluate what you're trying to do, where the balance of passion is. At the end of this second week, with the Two of Cups on top of the Queen of Pentacles, yeah, it's that about deceit You're trying to get here. You're trying to get to a serene relationship where everything is earthing. But lies. Lies and deceit. Now, whether you're doing it, Taurus, and I know you're like, nah, you're not Taurus, no lie, deceit, or whether the other person is doing it. See that bull right there? It doesn't matter. You are really trying to get here. And whatever you need to do, Taurus, that's what you're doing. For some of you, this is about the external pieces of your Scorpio relationship. So baby mamas, in-laws, other folks, your family, those people. And whatever kind of interference they may be trying to run on you, coming back to the blockages. You've got the inner strength to deal with this and the patience. If this is what you really want with your Scorpio, you've got what it takes. Magician card. You've got this. But, again, between the upheavals that are coming and the anxiety you have about how this relationship looks to you, I don't know if y'all are going to make it. I don't know. Let's look at weeks 3 and 4. So we pulled the Fool for the 3rd week, the Queen of Swords, and the 9 of Swords. Somebody dealing with some air energy, doggone it. Libras, Aquarius. 4th week pulls the 3 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands, and the 3 of Cups. I don't like the 3 of Cups. I don't. I don't. So the Fool is pulling the 10 of Wands, talking about isolation, repressed emotions. Queen of Swords is pulling the Star card. Is that the Star? No. The Moon. With her. Uncertainty and resistance with her. The 9 of Swords is pulling the 6 of Swords. Objectivity. Yeah. Whatever's going on with you in Scorpio, Taurus, this is you here trying to roll out of it. But the question is, are you going to completely keep rowing to the other end of the earth, or are you just trying to roll past what's going on? And that's going to be up to you, for real. The 3 of Pentacles is pulling the 5 of Wands, change, of course, conflict. 4 of Wands, pulling the 8 of Coins, patience and learning. 3 of Cups is pulling the 4 of Swords. I want to say somebody's going to try and turn this into a competition, Taurus. That's what I want to say. Whoever the outside person is, not your Scorpio, whoever's trying to flow back into your experience. Retrograde, there you go. One of the parade volunteers. What the hell? And it's almost going to push you to the point, if I just want to get right to it, about a truce. But you see, just sitting there by itself, ain't nobody there, and all of this might just push you to, you know what, I don't want to be bothered with nobody. The Queen of Swords. Looking at the 3rd week, the Fool and the 10 of Wands, about the isolation, repressed emotions, dealing with exes that you're going to come across. You may be find out you got some repressed emotions about some folks. The Fool here, don't be thoughtless. Whatever you're doing, don't be reckless, and don't just have your ass hanging out the window. Think about what you're doing. Have some patience for the situation that you're currently in with your Scorpio before you jump off the bandwagon. Yeah, I said that part. Next to that, The moon sitting on top of the queen. See, and this is dealing with your instant fears on the inside. And this is that energy, independent and accomplished. You may decide after dealing with whatever uncertainty with your Scorpio and whoever else that I'm done. You know what? I don't need to be bothered with none of y'all. How about that? I'm good. And see, when you move into that kind of direction, some of you could be saying, I'm going to stay with my Scorpio. Let's get that part clear. Everybody ain't trying to jump ship. But you're moving away from dealing with how you're dealing with yourself on the inside to the light of day. And this is where when you start dealing with the uncertainty, you start dealing with your fears and start putting names on shit and start looking at situations for what they really are, get you right to the light of day. Now we're talking about having boundaries, a framework, and do I really need to be here with anybody or anything? Some of you may come to that conclusion, and this will be no fault to Scorpio. Let me put that out there. If you get to the point where you're saying, you know what, I don't want to deal with the situation with my Scorpio either, it's going to be because you're tired of all of it. Your Scorpio, for some of you, you may feel like it's stagnated, you're not moving forward, or it's moving too slow, or they're taking too long, they're not being decisive, however that's resonating with you. And before anything of this nature happened, you may have been like, okay, well, we're just going to putter along. But, you know, it only takes one person to get in and kick some shit up, and that'll just ruin the party for everybody. So I had to say that because that energy is there. Again, moving from that inside and clearing up whatever it is you need to clear up to this. There may be some depression. Don't forget, you got the Three of Swords as your challenge. Upheavals and disappointment. And by no means do I mean anybody disappointing you, Taurus. Let me throw that part out there too. You might be the one to say, I am done. And it won't necessarily have anything to do with infidelity. It feels like a lot of you have been trying to make a go of this with your Scorpio, but something's missing. Once again, we got all the accoutrements, but we ain't got no leaves on the damn tree. How's that going? Money between the two of you, some kind of stability, but it's not popping on all cylinders for you, Taurus. At the end of this third week, with the Six of Swords sitting on top of the Nine of Swords, you may not want to deal with the emotional burden anymore, but then no, there's good news on the way for some of you. There's blessings, and I'm going to put it where it is. If you, whatever you decide to do, stay with your Scorpio or go somewhere else, it's all to the good. And primarily because you're making these kinds of decisions, you're processing your shit on the inside, and you're making the decision of what you're doing, whether it's by yourself or not by yourself. So the blessings will come with that. But objectivity is needed. The back end of this is about changes. Of course, this is about moving out of the choppy water into the calmer water. So whatever decisions, it feels like decision time is going to be closer to the end of the month, where you actually make a decision. You are doing this, or you are not doing this, or you're going to change something or do something different, however that's resonating. Looking at the last week of October with the Five of Wands sitting on top of the Three of Pentacles, there may be some jealousy on the one hand. On the other hand, long-term rewards. If you decide to stay with your Scorpio, you may get the benefit of the long-term rewards. Or conversely, you may get jealousy, power struggles, depending on who you're dealing with. This is all good for you, Taurus. Let's just say that. There may be some conflict, though. There may be some arguments and some hard words. And if you've been sitting, I said something about repressed emotions up here. If you've been sitting, there's your repressed emotions. You've been sitting on any of this and haven't been commenting, and certain things been going on, and you just been kind of biting your tongue. I don't know why every time I come over here, you pick up a damn phone and start going through Facebook, that kind of shit. You haven't really said anything. This is the energy where that shit will come out. Now, that can be on either side. That can be, it actually can be on both sides. It can be with your Scorpio, and if there's an outside third party situation going on, it can be with that person too. Either side can come with the jealousy and the power struggles. Whichever way you decide to go, there are going to be long-term rewards, whether you stay with Scorpio or you get with someone else. And that's exactly, if you make that kind of decision, that's what that decision is going to be made on. Long-term rewards. Which one of them is going to be able to deal with you for the long term? The Four of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles sitting on top. Once all of that is done, some patience will be required. Check that out. Moving right on up. So either a new situation will come up, and it will be a come up and a step up, or if you stay with your Scorpio, you will graduate to the next phase, however that's resonating with you. At the end of all of this, with the Three of Cups, it's going to be about the accomplishment and what can be accomplished with your partner. Some of you may have to call a truce. Scorpio you may not know anything. You may not tell them anything, but the arguing, the bickering, all of that, you may have to just call a truce so you can get some time and some space between the two of you. If this is the other person, I wouldn't expect any problems out of the Scorpio. I'm going to just say that. So if you decide to stay with Scorpio, truce is not going to be needed, obviously. But if you decide to depart, you may have to depart. And again, it's going to be about what can be accomplished. I wrote it up there in the corner over there. You may have to call a truce. I'm just saying. Let's see what the Oracle cards got for Taurus and Scorpio for the month of October. This is not easy, Taurus. This is not easy. I think all of this is really happening, though, to make you look at what you have and determine if what you have is what you need, what you want. Is this what you're trying to manifest? Because if your attention is so quickly shifted when somebody out of the blue from the past pops up, you see that fire right there? Behind him, you heard me? Out of the blue pops up, then, I mean, it's really worth saying, is the Scorpio relationship the one you're trying to be in anyway, if somebody can get your attention that quickly? Especially if this from the past has been any kind of complicated, hurtful situation. And that's the upheaval and disappointment part of all of this. Just saying. Solitude. Well, you know what that means. You know what that means. Deep freeze. Oh, shit. Know what that means, too. Hang on, let me get my third card out. There it is. Education. So, there you go, Taurus. You're going to need some time this month, if you're with a Scorpio, to sit down and think about what you have. Again, if somebody coming out of the past has got your attention, you might want to reevaluate why you're with the Scorpio. Why are you with the Scorpio anyway, if somebody from your past can get that much of your attention? I'm just throwing it up against the wall. Y'all can be mad later. It's okay. You may, Taurus, need to put your feelings in the deep freezer for a hot second. Especially if you're dealing with an ex that's trying to come back. For some of you, all these threes and Three of Swords and Three of Cups and all this mean shit is coming from the past. That past person can just bring all this shit back up out of you. You may need to put your repressed emotions for said person in the deep freezer and keep moving with your Scorpio. I'm just throwing it out there. Before you get into anything with anybody, educate yourself, especially exes. And I'm looking at that bird right there. Exes. Dealing with exes. Educate yourself on what they've been doing since you've not been together. Because I promise you, they're going to come blowing in like a warm summer breeze and tell you everything is right in the world. For some, that might be true. They've made some changes and some more shit. However, for others, not so much. So just be mindful of that, particularly if we're dealing with somebody coming back, and just trying to get in it. Educate yourself about their situation and what's going on. Taurus, I'm going to leave your reading there for Taurus and Scorpio. I hope you have a wonderful week and a good October. I will talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.